Okay, go ahead, Zoe. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're at the Cal Poly Slaughterhouse.
Hey, what are you doing?
Matt.
Zoe, where?
Here.
All right, folks. Right here. We're back here at Cal Poly. They brought another victim in here. They brought another cow in. Okay, the truck is now actually pulling off. All right.
So, they're pulling away.
Okay. So, folks, we got a bit of a hectic scene here. We're at Cal Poly, where last week Zoe was here and attempted to free Dana, a pig. We're back here today, prepared with chains, prepared to risk arrest if necessary, to demand the freeing of a cow who's right there, a cow who we need justice. The trailer was backed up moments ago, and the trailer is now pulling away. We're here at Cal Poly. This is an institution that's publicly funded, that teaches tomorrow's future leaders about violence.
Zoe, do you want to talk about why you're here today?
So I'm here today because violence against animals is wrong. And this slaughterhouse is actually violating a California Penal Code of animal cruelty. The California Penal Code 597 states that it is illegal, it is prohibited to mutilate, torture, or wound or even kill an animal. And that is what this slaughterhouse is trying to do today. And they just tried to bring this cow into the slaughterhouse. So I chained myself right here and they drove away because they're so scared of what's gonna happen. And they've had police officers driving back and forth. We've been on the road all day today. So I'm chained here and I'm not going to leave unless they give us this cow. And if they give us this cow, then we will not be coming back. Matt, why don't you go talk to that man? Talk to that man. So Julianne's chaining herself here right now. Are you sure it's tight enough?
I'm pretty sure. I'll check before I do. They're not going to take us now. Looks like they were calling the police.
Yeah, so we're calling the police. The slaughterhouse manager's over here. I'm chained here. Julianne's chained here, and I'm chained right here, so that they won't be able to open the gate and they won't be able to bring the cow in. And we're trying to negotiate the release of the cow. That's what Matt's doing right now. We're asking that they send this beautiful cow to our sanctuary, to my sanctuary, Happy Hen Animal Sanctuary, where she can live the life that she deserves. So I'm going to get the camera over to Julianne here. So yeah, Matt is over here. And did you mix up the code?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool. And we're hoping that we can save this beautiful life. They just drove her off. I'm sure she's terrified and it breaks my heart. We have 2 cows at Happy Hen Animal Sanctuary and they're such loving, beautiful beings.
Can you back up a little? No, just move that way.
So we're here literally inside of the chute again. Last week they killed Dana, a beautiful pig, and we're not going to leave this time. And if they arrest us, they arrest us. It's going to reflect really badly on Cal Poly, so it's up to them whether they want to, have that blood on their hands. Again, they've already had blood on their hands after killing Dana, and they have a choice here whether they want blood on their hands again. We will leave, we will unlock ourselves, and we will leave if they give us this cow, and if they don't, then we won't leave. Let's see what Matt had the conversation with.
So right over here is where Zoe was last week with Dana, where they took her and they killed her.
So what is
Matt,
that?
Hi there. Yeah, so I had a conversation with the gentleman who I think seemed to be in charge, who was a staff member, and he wasn't receptive at this point. I think this is all kind of sprung on him, so it's kind of an understandable reaction on his part. I told him, that we understand that he has a job to do, that this is not a personal attack towards him, and that we are, trying to speak up for the animals. And he kind of nodded his head, and at least kind of heard that and walked away. So we'll see.
So yeah, it sounds. Last time I was here, he didn't really want to talk to me. He just kind of kept saying, "I understand, I understand, I understand." And then he just walked away. And then while I was being detained, I kind of shouted over to him, and I was like, "Hey, can you please have a conversation with me?" And he wouldn't. And I think that's because these people, they know that what they're doing is wrong. For example, even the agriculture students who are required to take this course are not allowed to see the animals being slaughtered, and so they never see the animal while they are alive. And these students are completely traumatized. I know students who haven't even actually witnessed the slaughter, who have just seen the dead body of a pig during a sausage making class, and have been just completely scarred and traumatized and had to drop the course. And for animal science majors, you're required to learn how to kill animals, and that's horrible.
What if I went and tried to get footage and got screen and screen?
We're trying to figure out what's happening right now. The cow just drove off, so Julianne and I are chained to this door, so they cannot get in. They can't get in here. They can't get the cow inside at all. So they're kind of screwed as far as getting the cow in. And we've got this really gnarly chain and a really gnarly lock, so it could take them several hours to get us out. So if they do decide to take this beautiful cow's life. But hopefully,
so Zoe, right now you are literally standing in the way of a cow in slaughter. That you are literally saving her life by standing here right now.
Yes. So if I left, they would be able to bring this cow in and take her life. Here's the slaughterhouse worker. Would you mind having a conversation with me? So he's not even really acknowledging me. And again, like I said, he last time he also didn't really want to have a conversation. And here are the police. So we'll
So
see.
do you want to catch up for people that have just
Yes.
entered, what
So
we're doing?
We
what
are
happened?
at a slaughterhouse.
We've got a second
Cal
police
Poly
car coming.
Campus slaughterhouse. And if you look in the caption, you can call Cal Poly right now and demand that they release this beautiful cow to my sanctuary, Happy Hen Animal Sanctuary. The link is in the caption. The police officers are here right now, and we're chained, so it should be pretty hard for them to get us out of here. And hopefully we'll be able to save this beautiful cow's life. I'm just gonna stand
So
right
did
here.
we see the cow? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so we did see the cow. She was a beautiful, beautiful cow, and it's heartbreaking to think about what's going to happen to her in just a couple hours if we do get taken out of here and we're not able to save this life. And I'm hoping that after last time, Cal Poly will see that they're going to get a lot of hate for this, for taking this cow's life. And so we're hoping that we can get them to be sent to the Happy Hen Animal Sanctuary. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank
Good.
you.
Can I help you?
So we're interrupting the process out here, unfortunately. We talked last week, about a little over a week ago.
Don't respond, Zoe.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry? Oh,
So we're just going to keep going with our demonstration here.
It's okay. He can talk.
Yeah, he
be
can
careful
talk.
Not
Sure.
yeah. So we're going to have to actually leave because we're interrupting the process out here.
I'm not going to leave until the cow is sent to sanctuary.
No, that's okay. So I have to give everybody a forewarning
Yeah, sure.
that if you don't leave, we're going to have to forcibly
Well,
take
we want
you
to see
away.
this. We want to see this cow go to sanctuary so she can live the life that she deserves.
Okay, no, I understand that. So there was a third person with you? That person's not inside, right?
We don't know. We only know
Just the two of you?
where we are.
Okay. Alrighty. So are you two willing to leave the premises peacefully?
We're not going to leave until the cow goes to sanctuary because, this slaughterhouse is actually violating California Penal Code 597 for animal cruelty. It is actually illegal in the state of California to torture or wound or even kill an animal, and that is what this slaughterhouse is doing, and we think that this needs to stop.
Have you brought that up with the court system since they're violating the law?
We have tried, and because these animals are farmed animals, a lot of law enforcement don't really want to see them as individuals. I mean, if they were dogs, it wouldn't be that way. And so we're chained here.
You said they're.
It looks like there
violent.
are
And we've got some
activists
other
coming right
activists
here.
here.
Okay.
We've got all these amazing people out here to speak up for this beautiful cow who they're trying to kill here today.
Okay.
And hopefully we can save her life. And we're actually going to call her justice, and we're asking for justice. We're asking for justice to be released, and we're asking for justice for her. So Julianne and I are chained here, and we are not going to leave until this cow is taken to sanctuary so she can live the life that she deserves. And if you all didn't see, they actually, once we started chaining ourselves, we jumped over this barrier, and they actually drove off with the cow. So they're not slaughtering the cow right now because we're here, and the second we move, they'll slaughter this cow. So we're not going to leave until this cow is released to sanctuary so that she can live the life that she deserves. And we have hundreds of people watching on Facebook Live right now, and hopefully we can save a life today.
Zoe, do you want to talk about all the animals at your sanctuary, including you have several dogs that you live with?
Yeah, so at Happy Hen Animal Sanctuary, we have over 150 animals, including 2 cows actually. We have dogs, and the dogs and the cows, they play together, just like as if they were all dogs. You know, they're all individuals with lives worth living, and there's really no difference in any way that matters between a cow and a dog. I mean, all animals feel love, all animals feel joy, all animals want to live just as much as you and I. And it breaks my heart to know that this cow has been sentenced to such a horrible fate. And I want more than anything else to be able to save her life so that she can live out the life she deserves. You know, we have 40 acres at Happy Hen Animal Sanctuary. She would be so happy. She would never have to, you know, be afraid ever again. And we're giving this slaughterhouse a choice. They can either, you know, figure out how to get us out of these chains and arrest us, or they can send this cow to sanctuary. And one of those options is going to reflect really badly on Cal Poly, and one of them is going to save a life. So they have a choice.
And speaking of Cal Poly, can you talk about what some of the students have said about this process, and maybe even what the professors have been heard to have said?
Yeah, so there's actually an animal sciences professor just a couple days ago who was speaking to a reporter who was covering the story of me trying to save Dana the pig, and he actually said to her that he thinks that a transition away from meat is will and is happening, which is just amazing to hear an animal science professor saying that. And you know, I think they know, and they're just afraid right now. They don't know how to respond to this clear movement for animal rights, and we're hoping that we can save a life today, because you know, all the students in this class, they don't want to be here either. They don't want to have to, you know, they're required to be here for whatever major that they're going through, but they don't want to be here. They don't want to have to witness a beautiful being die. They just want everyone to be happy just like we do. And so we're also fighting for these students to not have to be, you know, completely traumatized by this violence, so that someday, you know, we're teaching compassion towards all beings, not just some beings. We're not teaching violence any longer, and we're living in a better world. And that's the world that I want to live in, and I know that's the world that a lot of us want to live in.
And we've got more people. We've got 400 people watching what's happening right now. Could you catch everyone up who's new, why we're here, who we saw, what's happening, and why you went to this measure after what happened last week?
Yes, so last week I came to this slaughterhouse at the Cal Poly University campus here in San Luis Obispo, California, and I went into the pen with Dana, a beautiful pig who they were trying to slaughter that day for a class, and unfortunately I wasn't able to save her. The police forced me to leave, but this time we've come with reinforcement. We have chains, and myself and Julianne are here, and we're chained to this slaughterhouse. We actually have the door so it's shut, so they can't get us out of here. They can't even get the cow in if they wanted to. So when the cow tried to come in here, they actually just drove away. So they drove away with the cow. So the cow is no longer at the slaughterhouse. And so we only got to see her for a brief moment as they were trying to, just about to open up the trailer. We jumped over the barrier and into the chute, this metal slaughter line, and they kind of yelled at us and then quickly just drove away because they didn't want us to see this cow and be able to, you know, show people what a beautiful individual she is. And we're calling this cow Justice because we're asking for justice for her, and we're asking for justice to be released to Happy Hen Animal Sanctuary so she can live the life that she deserves and the life that all animals deserve. And you can actually call Cal Poly right now. The link is in the caption of this live stream. So just go look up, click the number, and call. Call and ask them to release this beautiful cow to Happy Hen Animal Sanctuary because she deserves to live just as much as you and I deserve to live. So call right now and make that ask so that someday all animals can live the life that they deserve, and maybe someday we can even shut down this slaughterhouse, shut down all slaughterhouses, so that no more animals will have to die. And that's what we're trying to say to this slaughterhouse today. You know, this cow doesn't have to die. She doesn't have to die. We have a horse trailer just on the street here, ready to come in as soon as they get word that they're willing to release the cow. So literally all they have to do is let us take this cow, and we'll take her to sanctuary so that she can live the life that she deserves. And so Cal Poly has that choice today.
And a lot of people will say that this is a fringe group with a lot of people, but we have activists here in San Luis Obispo. There are people all around the country that care about animals. There are people here standing in solidarity with us right
Happy
now.
Land Animal Sanctuary is here with the trailer, ready to take the cow. If they just come back, give us the cow, and we'll take her to sanctuary so that she can live the life that she deserves. And we have, these aren't even all the activists we have here. We have a couple activists over there looking into the chute where they would periodically be bringing the cow into the slaughterhouse to have her life ripped away from her. And you know, Cal Poly says that they're trying to set a humane example, and they're doing good things for animals, but we know that that couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, the pigs here are actually electrocuted and hoisted up by their legs and stabbed to death. You know, the cows are shot in the head and stabbed to death. This is not ethical. This is not humane. This is animal cruelty, and they're actually violating the California Penal Code 597. And we are telling them that here today. And the police were just over here, and they just walked away. I don't know what they're talking about, what they're thinking.
And people are asking where the cow is, and we have more
Yes.
people that have joined. So can you again just tell
Yeah,
where we
so-
are, and did we see a cow? Where is
Yes,
the cow?
So we did see the cow. We got to see her for a brief moment, but as soon as we jumped over and into the slaughterhouse, they just sped off. They didn't want us to even see this cow because they knew that that would make them look bad. It would put a face to the blood on their hands. But we're still here, and we're
And
not
so
gonna
if you
move.
hadn't have changed yourself,
so if we-
what would have happened?
Right, so if I hadn't have chained myself here, they would have brought this cow in and taken her life. They would have shot her in the head and stabbed her to death. But I'm chained right here, and they can't even open this gate. So this is where they would normally bring the cow into the slaughterhouse. But right now they can't do that because we're chained right here, making sure that this cow does not die. And we've got this huge chain here. And hopefully they won't be able to get through it. Hopefully we'll be able to stay here, and eventually we'll be able to convince them to give us this cow so that she can go to sanctuary and live the life she deserves.
And Brittany Drake, who's an incredible activist for PETA, just asked if we're at a university. Do you want to tell her where we're at?
We're at Cal Poly University, a public university in the state of California. It's right here in San Luis Obispo, right here in this middle of California, a super progressive state. There is a slaughterhouse at a university where students are being traumatized and being taught violence instead of compassion. And we've got all of these amazing people. A lot of them are students who had the courage to come out here today, risking possibly even being suspended or expelled, but they're willing to take that risk in order to save some of these beautiful animals' lives, and eventually, end slaughter altogether. So we're out here, and this is keeping them. The university police, there's some tech services, it looks like, so maybe they're trying to figure out how to get us out of these chains. I don't know, but we want to make sure that they can't get in.
Zoe, do the students actually watch as they stun the animal, and can you tell us what the stunning process is?
Yeah, so the students generally never get to see the animal while he or she is alive. So they don't really let the students connect with them as the individuals they are before they slaughter them, because they know that these students are horrified if they really, realize what they were doing, what they were participating in. And, I think everyone's a good person, and Cal Poly knows that. Otherwise, they would. So we're making sure that this cow doesn't have to be slaughtered and traumatize these students. And hopefully we can take her to sanctuary. But yeah, the way that they stun these animals before the students even see them is, so the way that they stun pigs here at this slaughterhouse is they electrocute them in their spinal cord and brain, and then they roll them out onto the kill floor, hoist them up by their leg, and stab them to death. And that's what happened to sweet Dana, who was slaughtered just a week and a half ago at this slaughterhouse. They stole her life from her for profit, for education, whatever excuses they might give, and now she's dead. And her memory haunts me and so many thousands of people around this world. And this cow, we don't want the same thing that happened to Dana to happen to her. And so we're not going to move. Even if they can arrest us, I mean, for all I care, they can kill me. As long as they can kill me instead of this cow. I mean, for all I care, I just want this cow to go to the sanctuary so that she can live the life that she deserves.
And Brittany and Cassie are saying they're calling the number. Thank you guys so much for calling the number.
And it's so important that everybody calls so that Cal Poly knows that if they kill this cow, there will be blood on their hands.
Looks like there's a third police vehicle that's just shown up here.
So there's another police officer, fourth vehicle.
For two young women. I think we're both under 5'3".
Yeah, I'm personally 5'0". I mean, I'm not sure I'm much of a threat. I mean, all of these police officers could be out fighting violent crimes, but instead they're fighting people who are trying to save a life, trying to do a bold act of compassion. And you know, I'm 15 years old, and my entire life I've been taught that, you know, police officers defend the innocent, those in need, and here they are defending those who are stealing lives for profit, of all things. And I want to see this cow get to live the life she deserves, and all because I want to see this cow live out her life, just because I want to see this cow not have her throat slit. I'm being treated as a criminal. Me, a 15-year-old girl who just wants to save a cow's life. I am the criminal here, not the people who are trying to steal her life for profit. And that breaks my heart because, you know, I've been raised to be kind. We've all been raised to be kind. And yet we're only raised to be kind to some people, not all people, only human people and dog people or cat people. But we're not taught to be kind to certain beings just due to their species. And I want that to change. I want that to change now. And I don't think a single more animal deserves to die because of our prejudice. I think that this cow deserves to go to sanctuary. She deserves to live. She does not deserve to die because of our, you know, obnoxious beliefs that some lives are worth less than others. You know, she deserves to be safe, happy, and free, just like you and I. And we're fighting for her life here today.
And last week when you were here with Dana the pig, a lot of people were asking, why can't you just take her? Why couldn't you just get someone to pick her up and run away with her and take her to the sanctuary?
Yeah, so the thing is, they would just come after her because right now, under law, animals are property. They're property. And so if we took the cow or if we had taken Dana, they would have just come and gotten her back, and that would have just been, you know, more stressful and traumatizing for her. And the last thing we want to do is have her, you know, have to go through all this transport and then just get taken back. So, you know, we're trying to save this cow's life through civil disobedience here. We're not going to be leaving. And they have a choice. Again, they can give us this cow. They can give us this cow, and we will leave. You know, we will just unlock ourselves and we will leave. But if they don't give us this cow, we will be here as long as we need to be in order to save this cow's life. If we have to be here all night, or if we have to be here for a week, we will, because this cow does not deserve to die. Not a single more animal deserves to die at this slaughterhouse here at Cal Poly.
And behind us, it looks like the police are talking. They've been pointing to different areas. It looks like they're trying to come up with a plan to get us out of here. It doesn't look like they're making any efforts to save the cow's life. Instead, they're just trying to remove activists so that they can slaughter this animal. And Zoe, do you want to talk about the behaviors that you've seen of cows? I know that you live with all sorts of animals. You have dogs that you live with, as well as 2 cows currently at the sanctuary.
Yeah, so at Happy Hen Animal Sanctuary, we already have 2 cows. They're both rescued from the dairy industry, and they're so beautiful. You know, Buddha, one of the cows, he just licks your hair. He likes to eat people's hair. He's so sweet, so gentle, and he's such a loving individual. We got the camera back here. So yeah, Buddha, one of our cows, and he's so beautiful, and I love him more than anything. And his sister too, Rosa, and they're both just such beautiful individuals. And when you look in their eyes, you can just see how loving they are. And you know, I only got to see this cow for a brief moment here today, but I could tell that she was a beautiful individual too. And yet, know, because she's less lucky than Buddha and Rosa and she might not get rescued, they're going to kill her. But we're going to try to change that here today. We're going to try to get her to sanctuary so that she doesn't have to die, so that no more animals have to die at this slaughterhouse. And hopefully we can save this girl's life. And again, we've named her Justice because we want justice for her, and we want justice to come. We want to ask for justice to come to sanctuary. So we're demanding justice here today, for justice and for all animals. So please call Cal Poly's administration office. The phone number is in the caption of this live stream, and you can help us make the ask that this cow doesn't have to die. She can live the life that she deserves, the life all animals deserve.
And can you talk about, right now they were bringing the cow because there is a class right now, correct?
Yes.
They were planning to kill her
Yes.
right now, and the only reason that she is not dead right now is because of what you're doing.
Right, so they were going to be killing her. They were about to bring her in and kill her for this class. And actually, after what happened last week with Dana the pig, who they slaughtered, they've actually added a lot more security to this place. We came here and, you know, they've had locks on all the gates, and, you know, normally this isn't even closed. You know, most of the time when I've been here, this is open there's all the time unless there's an animal in here. But they've had this closed, they've had the door back there closed. They are scared. They are really, really scared right now. And that's good. We want, you know, animal rights activists to be confident and animal exploiters to be afraid. Not afraid for their personal safety, of course. You know, we love everyone. And I want to make this clear, too. If you do call Cal Poly, be nonviolent. There's no reason that any of us should ever treat anybody with violence, whether they're hurting animals or not. We need to be kind to everybody. So if you're commenting on Cal Poly's page and you're saying, you know, that you hate them or anything like violent and you want them to die, anything like that is unacceptable, because we want love for everybody, and we know that every single person, even the person who would be the one slitting this cow's throat today, is a good person. And, you know, we've all just been brainwashed by our society, which says that some lives are more valuable than others. So please call and respectfully ask that this beautiful cow be released at Happy Hen Animal Sanctuary. And hopefully we can give her the life she deserves.
And we're getting a few questions on the live stream. Several people want to know why we don't just offer to buy the cow from them. And someone also said that the cow is probably already dead right now. So do you want to address both of those?
So I'll start with the first one. The reason we can't buy this cow, or we won't buy this cow, first off, I'm not sure that they would sell her to us, but regardless, we wouldn't buy her because she's not a piece of property, and we cannot treat her as such. She is an individual, and she deserves to be sent to sanctuary. And also, if we did buy her, they'd probably just use that money to go get another cow to kill, and no cows deserve to die. You know, we don't want a single other life to be lost here at the slaughterhouse. And it's really hard being here knowing how many lives have walked through this gate, and there's so many there's so many horrible memories of animals' last moments here. Animals who've had, you know, been beaten, been electrocuted, and been stabbed right here where we are. And their memory will live on. We'll make sure it does. And the other question was...
So someone said the cow's
Yeah.
probably dead already. And did you see the cow?
Yes, so we did see the cow. They brought the cow over here, and we were over there waiting for the cow. You know, they've had police officers actually driving up and down this street all day. They basically had like a chaperone, like police chaperoning the slaughter truck. And as soon as we saw them turn in, we just ran over here. We jumped over this gate and we jumped into the slaughterhouse. And we saw the cow for a brief moment through here in the truck. She was so scared. She was so beautiful. You know, I don't know where she is right now, but I don't think she's dead, because the only way that they could kill her is if they brought her through this gate and brought her up through there. And we're here and we've got this gate shut, so they can't get her in here right now. So this cow is not dead right now, and we're gonna make sure it stays that way, because we're not gonna leave until they either, you know, somehow force us out. Again, we've got chains here, so for them to get us out is going to be really, really hard. But if they are able to get us out and arrest us, that's the only way that they could kill this cow at some point. But we want to make sure that doesn't happen, and you can help us make sure that doesn't happen by calling this number. You know, we need to believe that we can save this cow. So call this number, and let's hope that maybe we can make a miracle happen and save this beautiful life.
So we now have over 600 people watching what you're doing right now, Zoe. We have activists gathered all around. Some of those people on there are making some derogatory comments relating Zoe to an animal. Josh is saying, ignore the trolls, you are amazing.
Thank you.
And so if you want to catch people up who just joined the live stream, tell us how this came about,
Yes.
where we are.
So I'm chained to a slaughterhouse right now, and I'm chained right where this gate is. So this is where they would normally bring the cow into the slaughterhouse, and then they would take her up there to stun her and stab her to death. But we're here, Julianne and I are chained to the slaughterhouse so that they can't bring her in. And the second that we jumped over the barrier and began to chain ourselves in place here, they just bolted. They bolted like straight that way with the cow in the trailer. So hopefully we'll be able to save her. We don't know exactly where the cow is right now, but the cow is alive as far as we know. As far as we know, the cow is still here and we can still save her. And we need your help in order to do that. We want to make sure that Cal Poly knows that if they kill this beautiful cow, if they kill Justice, which is what we've named her, there will be blood on their hands. And everyone will know that there's blood on their hands. And so you can call and make sure that they know that there are people who care about this beautiful girl, beautiful Justice.
And it sounds like we might have an update from our press coordinator.
Yeah, well, I haven't heard back specifically just yet, but I did want to add, with 600 people or so on the live stream right now, that's a massive amount of power that we have. And one big thing we can do to get media attention, if 600 people go out there right now and are tweeting at media outlets, we can get coverage around this. Particularly, if we start locally, the San Luis Obispo Tribune, and KCOY locally. And in case it wasn't heard the first time, with this many people on live stream, if we get active, we can create a firestorm around this. We can create a massive press dialogue. If we start a dialogue locally, this can turn into a national story. So we all have so much power at our fingertips. Go tweet at the San Luis Obispo Tribune, and KCOY in San Luis Obispo. Also, Live Kindly, Plant-Based News have covered us a lot, so make sure they're aware until we send emails out.
KSBY is a good one to tweet.
Yeah, what is that? Can you?
It's another slow news outlet. You can even tweet some other outlets. Just tweet everyone. But yeah, those are some good ones. And yeah, we want to share this story with everyone. We don't want this, even if this cow dies, we want to make sure that the entire world is outraged and the entire world has heard her story and is mourning with us. But hopefully we can save her life, because again, they can't bring her into this slaughterhouse without getting us out of here. And right now, we're chained in place, so they can't get this cow into the slaughterhouse. And we want to make it stay that way. And we really need everybody to call Cal Poly. Call the link. The phone number is in the caption of this live stream, so all you have to do is dial it in and call and ask that they release this cow to Happy Animal Sanctuary. Even if you are afraid to make phone calls, please do it. There might even not be anyone answering. They're probably getting hundreds of calls right now, so you'll just leave a voicemail if they don't answer, and make sure that they know that there are people who care. There are people who want to see this cow go to sanctuary.
And Lauren is saying, how do you humanely kill innocent sentient beings that do not want to die for an unnecessary reason? And we are getting comments on the live stream that there have been a lot of calls flooding in, and there are almost 700 people watching this live stream right now, and we want not just those people to see this, but we want the entire country to know that there are individuals standing up willing to chain themselves to slaughterhouses to save animals' lives. And so if you can tweet your local press and let them know that this is happening and that you want this to be covered, that this is news that the world deserves to hear about, if you can tweet or write on someone's Facebook wall for your local news, so that everybody, not just the 700 people watching this, can find out what's happening and speak up for animals. And Laura Ray is saying she will not die in vain. And Zoe, can you talk about where the cow is, why she isn't here?
Yes. So They originally tried to bring her in here, and we just jumped in and we chained ourselves to the gate so they can't even open it up, and they just bolted. They just left. They left with the cow, and so as far as we know, she's not dead. But if she dies, again, it will not be in vain. But we don't want her to die, because no more animals deserve to die anywhere, and not at Cal Poly's campus, nowhere in the world. No more, not a single more life needs to be taken. So please call the Cal Poly campus. Ask them to release this beautiful cow to our sanctuary. And again, this is a part of a class. They're doing a class right now where they're teaching students, young students, to kill, to steal a life. And that is horrible. I mean, I can't even imagine having that requirement just to get your education, to have to witness a beautiful being have her life ripped away from her. And it all starts here. So Cal Poly is where these people go before they go off to a major slaughterhouse or a factory farm. This is where they're learning to be violent towards animals. And if we end it, if we come here and we end it here, the entire system will run. So we want to make sure that this cow gets sent to sanctuary, and we can eventually shut down this slaughterhouse so that no more lives will be stolen. And we have all of these amazing activists who are out here. A lot of them are students, literally risking being suspended or expelled, being here to take a stand against the violence happening at their school. And hopefully with all of this pressure from our community today and from all of you guys on here watching and calling, hopefully we can save this beautiful cow, because Cal Poly will see that if they kill this cow, the entire world will be watching.
And Sally is saying, wouldn't jumping a fence be considered trespassing? Why did you decide that you needed to jump a fence today, Zoe?
Yeah, so I think whatever the law says, we have the moral right to be here. We absolutely have the moral right to be here. For example, if there's a dog dying in a hot car, you have the right to break the car window, at least in California, to save that dog's life. And I really don't see what we're doing here as any different. I mean, we're doing something you normally wouldn't be allowed to do in order to save a life. So as far as I'm concerned, we have 100% the moral right to be here today. And, you know, movements throughout history have chained themselves to things in attempts to block someone from being hurt or from something from being, you know, whatever injustice is happening. And that's what we're doing here today. And we hope we can save this beautiful cow. And again, we saw her for only a brief moment, and it was so heartbreaking looking into her eyes, even just a split second before they bolted off with her in the trailer. But you know, I have 2 cows at home, and I can only imagine how afraid she is. Because even when we just try to give them medicine, if we try to just give them a little injection, they don't have it, and they don't want anyone to harm them. It's so clear how much they feel. They feel love, they feel pain, they feel joy. I mean, just last night, Buddha was running around chasing the dogs, trying to play with them. He loves to play with our lamb Eddie, who was actually rescued from a slaughterhouse up in Oakland, California. Over 20 activists were actually arrested in order to save Eddie. And if we have to be arrested to save this cow here today, then so be it.
And we have 3 police vehicles here. We're seeing a police officer, 4 police vehicles for 2 small young women.
Yeah, they have 3 police officers, so 3 regular police cars and 1 police tech services. Yeah, so the university police are here as well. So,
and Zoe, for people who are really inspired what you're doing and want to do more to protect animals than just maybe changing what they're eating, can you talk about any big events that are coming up that they could be a part of?
So one amazing thing you can do is come to the Animal Liberation Conference in Berkeley this May. It's happening in just a couple of weeks, and we're going to be learning how to be effective activists. And we're not just going to be learning, it's not just a conference, we're also going to be taking action every single day for the animals. Where there's going to be huge marches, some of the largest animal rights marches in San Francisco Bay Area history will be happening that week. We have already over 1,000 people who are coming to the conference from all over the world. Amazing activists coming to take a stand, learn about effective activism, and do effective activism. And it's going to be one of the most amazing weeks. And I've been to the conference the past several years, and it's always been a life-changing experience every single time. And so it's not an event I would want to miss for the world.
And Zoe, you were here a week ago, and can you talk about how long you were here and why you had to leave?
Yeah, so I was here for about 45 minutes, and with Dana, the pig, who they slaughtered. They electrocuted her in her spinal cord and brain, rolled her out onto the kill floor, hoisted her up by her leg, and stabbed her to death. And they forced me to leave that day. They forced me to leave Dana behind, and I'm not going to do that to this cow today because we've changed here. We brought reinforcement. We have some amazing activists here today taking a stand, and we're going to hopefully be able to save this cow's life if Cal Poly makes the right decision, and you can encourage them to do so by calling using the phone number in the caption.
All right, we have a commenter saying that we should be tased and handcuffed. We had someone else saying that cows are property, whether you like it or not. Do you want to respond to any of the people who are hating on what you're doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, so legally right now, cows are property. You are correct. That's horrible because cows are people. You know, they deserve to be legal people under law, but right now they're not. They're considered property. They're considered objects. They're not considered worthy of the right to their own lives. And we're trying to change that. That's exactly why you're here, because we don't like that. We don't like that they're being considered property. And we're trying to change the law. And we want to get a constitutional amendment for animal rights, declaring that all animals are legal people under the law.
And Zoe, you and I are both women, and we come from a strong line of women fighting for their rights.
Yes.
People that are alive today don't remember when women used to not be considered people, and that they had to fight for their rights in similar ways in order to gain legal personhood. And actually, women were sometimes considered property.
Right.
And it was at livestock auctions in England where men would sell their wives the way that we sell
Hello,
animals.
everybody. My name is Officer
Yes.
Riley with the University Police Department. I've asked two of you to get out of the pen once before. You refused to do so. I understand that. We're asking you again to come out peacefully.
We're not going
We're asking, please, if you do not, unfortunately, you are trespassing at that point and will be required to take enforcement action.
We're not going to be leaving until this cow is in the sanctuary because we're currently here trying to take action against violence.
I know.
And that's all we want is to see this beautiful cow get to live the life that she deserves. That's all we're asking, and we're giving Cal Poly a choice here today. They can send this cow to Happy Hen Animal Sanctuary. We have a trailer here. All they have to do is bring her back, and we'll take her to sanctuary, and she'll never have to
So
be
I'll ask one
raped
more
or violent.
time to ask that you please leave peacefully.
We won't be leaving without the cow.
Okay.
So the police officers, again, they're defending this violent corporation, this violent slaughterhouse, rather than people who are trying to protect animals. And so hopefully we can change that, and we can, eventually the laws will be in favor of the animals, not in the favor of animal abusers. And what's happening here will be illegal. And honestly, it's very easy to argue that it already is illegal because of California Penal Code 597, which states that it is prohibited to torture, wound, or kill an animal, and that is exactly what they're trying to do to this cow here in this slaughterhouse. And so what they're doing is a violation of a California Penal Code 597.
And so we have over 900 people watching what you're
Amazing.
doing right now, supporting you.
Thank you.
And if people just joined in, the police just came over to say that if we do not leave, that they are going to take action.
Yes.
And we are taking action in the ways that our four mothers have taken action before us. Zoe and I are both women. There was a time in this world where women were not considered people, where women did not have legal personhood, and they were arrested and they were dragged off and they were put in prison for daring to ask that they receive the legal right to personhood. And that is why we were doing this today. And Zoe, do you want to catch everybody up who just joined the live stream? We're up to 988. We're almost 1,000 people. So
Amazing.
for anyone who just joined, what is happening right now?
And before I say what's happening, please, if you're on, share this live stream and invite all of your friends to join as well, because we want to make sure that this story gets out there. So what we're doing here today is we're chained to a slaughterhouse, to the chute, to the slaughter line, myself and Julianne, and we're demanding that this beautiful cow, who was just here moments ago, be released to my sanctuary, Happy Hen Animal Sanctuary. As soon as we got here, we jumped over the chute into the slaughterhouse, and they just bolted with her. So as far as we know, she's not dead. She's, I don't know where they have her, but they can't bring her into the slaughterhouse right now because we're chained to the gate, so they can't actually get us out. Yeah, we can.
And Almira is asking if they're going to use bolt cutters to get us out.
They might
we
try.
have how many police officers here?
We currently have 4 cars. I don't know how many individual officers we have, but it looks like quite a few.
And what
which
are
is
they here
completely
responding to?
They're here responding to a 15-year-old girl, myself, and Julianne, and they're responding to us for trying to save a cow's life.
1,000 views.
1,000 views.
1,000 people right now.
Amazing. Thank you all so much. And again, share this live stream. Invite your friends to join. It is basically, if they're able to get us out of here, we'll be arrested. And if not, hopefully we'll be able to save this cow's life. And you can help Cal Poly make the right decision by calling the Cal Poly campus right now. The phone number is in the caption, and maybe we can create create a way for this cow to be brought to sanctuary. We have a trailer here. We literally have Happy Animal Sanctuary's horse trailer here. So we have everything set. There's a flake of hay in there for her. And all they have to do is say we can take her, bring her back, load her up into our trailer, and we'll take her to sanctuary.
Great. And Sandy is asking if you could please explain the idea that you have and the belief, and maybe also update people on the upped action that you've taken after what happened last week, and then explain to people what personhood is and why we're fighting for that.
So, we believe that all animals are individuals who deserve the right to their own lives, which is why we are here today. And last time when I was here, where they were about to slaughter Dana the pig for a different class, for a pig slaughtering class, today it's a cow slaughtering class. And when I was here then, they forced me to leave. And this time we've come back with reinforcement. We have some amazing activists, and we also have chains. So we're chained to the slaughterhouse right now, and they can't get the cow in here, and they can't get us out because we're chained in place. We've got this huge, really heavy chain. I must say it was very hard even getting it in here because it's so heavy. So hopefully they won't be able to get through it. Is the plan. And I want to, and then personhood for animals. So right now, usually when people say person, it's used as a synonym for human. But actually, person just means you have the right, you have rights under law as a legal person. And there was a time when women weren't legal people or whatever. And right now, animals are not legal people. And we were trying to change that. We want to get a constitutional amendment of animal rights, declaring that all animals are people. And now, when people hear animal rights, they think right to vote or whatever, but we just mean the right to be free, safe and happy, to not be exploited, to not have their lives stolen from them, to not be property, to have just the right to do as they please, the right to their own lives, the right to live. I mean, right now, it's horrible to think about it, but animals don't even have the right to live. They don't have that most basic right to literally breathe, to live. And we're trying to change that. And that is why that they are legally allowed to kill this cow here today. But if these cows and these animals were legally people, then they wouldn't be allowed to. And that's why we want all animals to have legal personhood.
And we're seeing the police behind us talking. They're pointing over here. It seems like they're trying to figure out something to do. We have been here for over an hour now, I believe. Last week, Zoe was here for 45 minutes before they escorted her out. So this time she came with a chain so that they could not make her leave easily, and that she could stay here until the life of a cow was saved. Sherry is saying all you need to do is give them the cow and they will leave peacefully.
Exactly.
Rhea is saying you are incredibly brave young woman. Stay strong for the cow. We have people saying that they're calling.
Thank you for calling. And again, if you didn't see in the caption of this live stream, there is a phone number, so you too can call Cal Poly and take a stand with us here today to save this cow's life.
And Zoe,
Press is definitely on this one. They're very excited about this. I called a few of them, and they like I just described what was happening, and they were like you could tell they were like really surprised and interested in this story. So I'm on site right now. I'm actually thinking about maybe dipping out to some Wi-Fi so I can do that a little more thoroughly. But this is definitely going to be, or maybe I'll bring the computer up here and do it. Actually, I'm probably about to do that. But yeah, this is awesome. Over 1,000 people on live stream. Press coverage is just blowing up. I mean, the fact that the police are right here, it's really good.
but what really matters is what's going to happen to the cow. And Zoe,
Right.
when we jumped in, you specifically chose this place, and you asked me to put the chain right there and to loop it around this specific area here and chain you right here. Why did you do that?
Yeah, so actually we were hoping, we were thinking that when we got ourselves in here, the cow was already going to be in here and we like chain ourselves in a different position. But we saw that they were bringing the cow in super late today. They've had police driving up and down and we just knew we had to do whatever we could to save the cow. And so as soon as we saw the cow was even at the slaughterhouse, we hopped over this barrier and I said, we have to chain them right here so that they can't open up this gate and bring the cow into the slaughterhouse. And as soon as they saw what we were doing, they just bolted. They just sped off with the cow. So as far as we know, the cow is still alive and hopefully we can save her life because as long as we're here, they can't kill her. And we want it to stay that way.
And our good friend and activist Mick Donovan just said, I just called and they took my info. He gave his full name so that they would know that he supports animal rights. And I just want to reiterate for people on the live stream, the reason the cow is not here is because Zoe chained herself to the entrance. The reason the cow, this is a slaughterhouse right behind us. That is the chute where they would force her to walk in and where they would kill her. Right through there, they would shoot a captive bolt right between the eyes. And the reason the cow is not there, the reason the cow is not at the slaughterhouse, the cow that we have named Justice because we're begging for justice, is because Zoe has chained herself to the door entering the slaughterhouse. And we currently have police behind us trying to figure out what they're going to do, how they're going to get us out. They can't just drag us out like they did last time. They're going to have to really take some action, or what we're hoping and pleading and calling and why the activists are here is just relinquish the cow, just save her life, and we will leave.
All we want is to save a life. That's literally all we're asking for. Just one life can be spared today, and we will leave. There will be no arrests, there will be nothing. All they have to do is send this cow to sanctuary. And they have a choice to, have blood on their hands or to save a life. And I'm hoping that they make the right decision. And again, please call and encourage them to make the right decision and send this cow to Happy Hen Animal Sanctuary.
And we have people tuning in from Colorado, from Canada. I saw someone from Germany. People all over the world care about animals. And they see that we're in California. They might think that we're in a really progressive area like San Francisco. Yeah. But where are we actually, and how many people showed up to speak for animals?
We're right in the middle in the central coast of California in San Luis Obispo at the Cal Poly campus at a public California university where they have a slaughterhouse on site. Cal Poly is known for its engineering and agriculture. And a huge part of the agriculture program is teaching students to kill animals, to steal lives, to mutilate animals, to do all of the horrible practices that they do at factory farms. And this is where it all starts. And it's right here it's this, and we have all these people in the middle of California. There's this slaughterhouse, but we've been able to get all of these amazing people out here speaking up. We've got dozens of activists out here today taking a stand, and a lot of them, again, are Cal Poly students. We hope that they'll see that their own students at their own campus are not okay with this. We have a Cal Poly graduate here from Loving Farm Animal Sanctuary. And she went to the school. Yeah.
And we have an update from our press coordinator.
Yes, so we had some folks who were talking to the people around here, and class is canceled for today. We locked the doors. Butchery class at Cal Poly is canceled for today. So that's this is how you disrupt the status quo. This is what happens when people take action. This is what happens when we're not intimidated, by the powers that be, and when we stand up for what we know is right. So that's a victory. Excellent job, and we're all part of it.
Yes. So the issue is they might still slaughter the cow. So we'll have to figure out what we're going to do about that, because if they slaughter this cow tomorrow or the day after, they're still taking a life, and we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So it's a huge victory that they canceled the class, but we need to figure out how we're going to save the cow.
Officer Riley with the University Police Department again. We're asking you to leave peacefully again. This is the third time we've been here. You willing to leave peacefully now?
Can we take the cow to sanctuary?
I can only ask you to leave peacefully. The answer is yes or no. We'll open the gate for you.
That's not leaving peacefully.
All right. Want to try one more time, folks? You guys are for oppression. That's a shame.
So again, we're not going to leave here until this cow is safe. We want to make sure that this cow does not die. And again, it's amazing that the class is canceled, and that's hugely thanks to all of you guys. You should all be so proud that the class was canceled. Great job, everybody.
Thank you.
And hopefully we can still save this cow. Clearly, you know, they're feeling the pressure today, and hopefully all these students will be like, why was the class canceled? And then they'll figure out what's going on here. Maybe we can even get them to come around and see what's going on. So we've got a fire truck here. We'll see what they're up to.
So we have 3 police vehicles, university police, and a fire truck just showed up because a 15-year-old girl and one other woman who is not too physically daunting have chained themselves to the slaughterhouse.
And all we're
chute.
trying to do is save a life. That's all we're trying to do is save a cow's life.
It looks, we were just told by one of our activists that a police officer is coming into the chute right now. So we have been here for over an hour. Zoe and myself changed to a slaughterhouse.
Yes.
This is the chute where they were bringing in the cow. She was coming right through here, and Zoe jumped over the barrier, and I chained her to this gate so that they could not bring the cow in. It looks like we have a police officer coming in right now.
Over there trying to get in through that door. But even though the class was canceled, they're still going to try to kill this cow, whether it's at tomorrow's class. You know, they're having classes at the slaughterhouse for a couple days after this. So hopefully we can save this cow's life. And again, all they have to do is give this cow to us, to the sanctuary, Happy Hen Animal Sanctuary, and to live the life that she deserves, and we will leave.
What kind of class is it?
So it's, what is it called?
Yeah, so we have
It's a
1,100
class?
people
Yeah,
watching
so it's
right
a
now.
class.
So
Woo!
for the at least
many did you
100
say?
people who just joined, can you tell them what we're doing, why we're here?
Yes, so we're here because there's a cow who's Cal Poly was trying to slaughter here today, and we jumped over the barrier and we ran over. They ran off with the cow, or drove off with the cow in the trailer as soon as we chained ourselves here because they were scared. They were scared after what happened with the whole Dana thing, and they killed Dana, and they got so much backlash from the amazing people who are watching this live stream. I know a lot of you fought really, really hardly for Dana last week, not last Thursday, and we weren't able to save her. And I will never forget Dana. I will never forget looking in her eyes. She was such a beautiful individual, and I hope that today we can save this cow so she don't have to suffer the same fate that Dana did, because no more animals deserve to die. And so we're chained. We've got some press here, which is amazing.
There we go.
Cal Poly is really going to be feeling the pressure here today, and hopefully we can save this cow so she won't have to die.
So we had activists cheering because the press is here, and the reason that the press is here to cover the story of an animal being slaughtered, something that happens every day and that people ignore. The reason why they're covering it today is because this activist has chained herself to a slaughterhouse. So these are the chains that are around Zoe's waist and going up onto the gate of the slaughterhouse. And Zoe, are you comfortable right now? Are you having a pretty good time, or how are you feeling?
You know, I'm pretty good. I've got, you know, this is pretty heavy on my waist, but I'll take any sacrifice to, you know, save anyone's life, anyone who's innocent. So we're gonna try really, really hard to save this cow's life, so she can go to sanctuary. And we've got press here. We've got a fire
Cops
truck.
just block the press. Our
so-
communication is going to tell them that they can't do that.
So it looks like the police officers are trying to block the press because they don't want people to know what's going on here, because, again, they know that what they're doing is wrong. But we're going to make sure that they get the story covered so that everybody will know what's happening at this horrible place of violence and death. And again, we are chained here so that they cannot remove us. It looks like the police officer is still trying to figure out how to get that door open. So we'll see what happens.
And so this morning, Zoe, we had a plan.
Press on site? We have press on site now.
Yes,
So our
also-
press coordinator is
Okay.
just telling us that we have press on site. And one of our activists was saying that the police are trying to block the press from being able to film because they don't want people to know what's happening here.
They've restricted him from being back there. Not sure if that's legal, but that's what they're doing. So I'll be communication.
Okay, so Matt's gonna try to figure out what to do about the press and talk to them.
So Zoe, can you walk us through when we got here, what the
Right.
original plan was and
So,
how things had to change?
When we were here, when Dana was here, they had her in this little pen over here, locked up, and we were planning to chain. I was planning to chain myself where those this gate and that gate meet, so that they wouldn't be able to get her out of the pen and up into the slaughterhouse chute. But then this morning we've been sitting out on the on Center Creek Road, right by the slaughterhouse. We were sitting out there for a couple hours, just waiting for the cow to arrive. We got what? They've got bolt cutters apparently. They're trying to get us out here. We'll see what they do. But yeah, so then once we realized that they had police and security, everything was kind of.
And when were we expecting the cow to be here?
When we were expecting the cow to be here, well, when we found Dana, it was around 11:30 a.m. and this is the same class schedule, so we were expecting the cow to be here around the same time. But
so do you think they changed on purpose?
Yes, so I think because of what happened with Dana, they switched up their entire schedule. They had police officers driving up and down this road several times this morning, just trying to scope things out. And I was hiding in the back of our car because I was worried they might recognize me from everything that happened with Dana. And so when we realized that it was going to be a lot harder this time, we knew we had to jump right away, so we just jumped as soon as we saw that there was a cow on site, and I chained myself right here to this gate so that they couldn't even get her into the slaughterhouse chute, and hopefully it'll stay that way and we can save her life.
Are you like zoomed in? It's kind of blurry. Or just try your best to be
sharp
stable.
here.
Okay.
So we've got all of these activists here.
So we've got police
And again,
approaching us. It
we're all-
looks like there's also
a lot of
a
people are holding
fireman
up
coming.
Peace signs because we are here in peace and love for everybody. Even the
Hi,
slaughterhouse
folks. My name is
workers.
Officer Riley with the
we
University
want-
Police
we want
Department.
love for the police officers. We want love
Here to ask
for
you
the
to leave
slaughterhouse
peacefully.
workers.
If you do not leave peacefully, we will be forced to make arrests. We would prefer not to do that. We would appreciate if you would unlock yourself, give us the combination, and leave peacefully. Are you willing to do that, please?
There's no peace here because there's animals who are being killed here, and as long as there's no peace at this place of violence, we will not be leaving.
Okay. Thank you very much.
There we go. There's the hero.
So we've got the police officers and the fire department out here trying to get us out of here so that they can continue to kill at this violent place.
Matt, come here.
So we'll see what happens. Again, we're chained here. Matt's going to take the live stream so that we can see what happens here. We've got a huge staff of policemen here to go after a 15-year-old girl and a young woman.
So I'm going to ask you to place your hands behind your back, please.
Where's the cow?
Can you just face that way and put your hands behind your back, please?
Can you please, where's the cow? Can we get there?
I need you to put your hands behind your back peacefully, Zoe.
You're under arrest.
Please.
Hands behind your back.
We want this cow to live the life that she deserves.
It's not peaceful to permit violence.
Not at all.
You're being placed under arrest, Zoe.
Murder will happen.
You're murdering living beings. You are consently hurting and living animals. You're taking someone's life that does not belong to you.
You're putting a 15-year-old, a compassionate child, in handcuffs.
I hope you guys feel good about this because this could be your dog. This could be your cat.
Where's the cow?
We want this cow to
Where is she? We're not leaving until you tell us where the cow is. We are not going to let her die. We are not going to let her die. You're going to have to drag us out of here
Ma'am, you're being
unless you
placed
tell us
under arrest
where the cow is. Where is
for
she?
148.
Where is she? She deserves to live as much as Zoe does. She deserves to live as
Zoe,
much
you're
as
under
we
arrest
do.
for 148
This
and
cow deserves to
trespassing.
live. Why isn't this slaughterhouse under arrest being shut down for violations of California Penal Code 597?
Yeah.
It's this slaughterhouse that's stealing lives. They're currently trying to get me out of here, all because I tried to save a life.
Yeah.
Cow Polly,
we wanna
where's
know.
the cow? Where is justice?
Where is the
Cow Polly, where is justice?
We want justice!
Cow Polly, where is justice?
Where's justice?
Cow Polly, where is justice?
Where's justice?
Cow Polly, where is justice?
Where's justice?
We want justice!
Is that lock on the outside easier, sir? You want to try to cut another one on the outside?
Yeah, it's right here, boss.
Oh, that's not attached to her, right?
1.2 thousand viewers right now. 1.2 thousand people who care about animals, who stand with Zoe, who stand with justice, who stand against violence, who actually stand for peace.
Cow Polly, where is justice?
Where's
Cow Polly, where is justice?
Justice! Where's justice?
Cow Polly, where is
Where's
justice?
justice?
Cow Polly, where is justice?
I got it. Where's justice?
A living, feeling individual, a cow named Justice, is going to be sent to her death, and a 15-year-old who just wants her to
Where
live
is justice?
is going to jail.
Justice, Cow Polly!
Where is justice?
Where are your fucking balls?
I think this would be easier right here.
Cow Polly, where is justice?
All we want is
Cow Polly, where is justice?
Let her
Cow Polly, where is justice? Cow Polly, where is justice? Cow Polly, where is justice?
Please don't kill anyone.
Where is justice? Cow Polly, where is justice?
No more lies.
Where
have to
is
be lost.
justice?
Where is justice?
Cow Polly, where is justice? You would rather drag a 15-year-old out in handcuffs than relinquish a cow to live. Are you that protective of killing animals that you're willing to drag children off to jail?
You guys are blatantly
Where is
defending
justice?
You're defending the murderers.
There was a time
They're letting them be murderers.
Throughout history, there have been people who've fought for what's right and been arrested, and that is exactly what you officers are doing here today, and that is not right.
You're on the wrong side of the
Women are not property, animals are not property, no living sentient being is property, and we are not going to stop speaking out until they get legal rights. Until they save their life. We're not going to stop speaking out until they stop slitting throats. And we are going to keep getting dragged off in chains and handcuffs until they give animals legal personhood.
What is happening in this slaughterhouse is unacceptable. They're defending the animal abusers, not rather than the people who are trying to save their lives. I am not leaving without justice.
Do you want to stand
You're
up
not
on your own,
leaving
Zoe?
until you find out where you've taken her.
Leave her there.
Lieutenant, yo, back, away from here.
He's got a video camera just like all of us.
Where is
Do just what we're doing.
justice? Where is justice? Cow Polly, where is justice? Cow Polly, where is justice? We are not leaving until you tell us where she is. We are not leaving until you let us rescue that cow. We are not leaving until you agree to stop slitting throats. And you are going to drag children off in handcuffs until you tell us where she is.
Where's justice?
Where's justice?
Girl, for wanting to save lives, you guys are literally helping murderers. You are murderers. You are letting
This is your dog,
kill
you be
animals.
with us.
We
Kill
love
living beings.
What are you doing your thing? What would you know what I'm going?
Look at the hero escorting two cowards. This is a hero. History is going to look back on this person on this day as a hero. Zoe Rosenberg, standing for justice. Zoe Rosenberg, standing up for what's right. A 15-year-old enduring prosecution, a 15-year-old being hauled off to jail for compassion. justice?
You can see the
Where is justice?
You can see the love, but you're choosing the hate and the anger and the
Save justice!
Zoe, you're a hero and we love you so much.
We love you, Zoe.
Thank you.
Zoe has been restrained, and they're hauling off a 15-year-old to jail for having compassion. A 15-year-old who does not want to see animals hurt. A 15-year-old is being put in handcuffs and taken to jail because she cares about animals.
Until you stop slitting throats.
And now Julianne, who is also present, also conducting civil disobedience, are being pushed by police because they don't want us to see what's happening. Police are putting their hands on activists who are trying to expose the truth.
T. McNutt is a murderer.
Where is justice, cowboy?
Where is justice?
Where is justice? Where is justice? You are all murderers.
Where is justice,
Is a murderer.
By carrying her off, you condone the rape of mothers and the murder of their children.
Ma'am, I understand you're the mother of
You condone the rape of
All right.
mothers and the murder of their children.
to do this.
You're a murderer.
You are prostitute the system.
All right, folks, so you have just seen right now 2 activists, including 15-year-old Zoe Rosenberg, have been arrested for speaking up for animals. We have Julianne Perry, who went to Uland, who rescued her dog Pow, who endured persecution there, who was interrogated for over 24 hours, rescuing the dog Pow who lived with her. And in this vehicle, Zoe Rosenberg is being hauled off. A 15-year-old activist, organizer, and sanctuary owner is being arrested and taken to jail because she wants to help animals, because she does not want animals to die. This is the reality, folks. This is what you call the wrong side of history. There goes Cal Poly Tech Services, the folks who came in with the bolt cutter and acted and arrested Zoe. So I'm gonna head back to the scene here. The police officers are heading out. It took literally 5 vehicles to respond. We have tons and tons of supporters. All these are local San Luis Obispo activists. Awesome work, everybody. 1.2K people are seeing you. So great. We have all this support. Who's coming to the Animal Liberation Conference? Who's coming to Berkeley at the end of May for a full week-long training activism? We have a press individual here. I'm going to speak with him momentarily. But first, I want to take you back over and see the scene here. So this is the scene. This is where the arrest happened. They cleaned everything up. You know, I guess this is their definition of justice. This is their definition of peace, as they said. Leave peacefully. Well, to them, peace means their slaughterhouse, their killing factory is back functional. All right. Well, folks, right now the fate of justice is unknown. So for those of you who might just be catching up with us, we pulled up here with the intention for Zoe to chain herself along with Julianne, to chain themselves up to the slaughterhouse chute to prevent the slaughter of an animal that was coming in. We waited outside. They came in. Let me get up here. We have an individual with press who is right behind me there, who's setting up. So we will be speaking with him momentarily. And when we came in, the folks who had this animal, they drove off right away. Zoe stood in there and with Julianne, and they were arrested. But this was a success. Over 1,300 people were watching at any individual moment. We have a lot of press interest. We have a lot of people who are inspired by this action, who want to get involved. And the class here at San Luis Obispo, there are students who are being taught violence, and that class was canceled today. That class was canceled, so that violence is not being taught, and those students have something to talk about, to say, like, wait a second, what was it these activists were standing up for? Let's talk about this. Let's figure out what side we want to be on. Right here behind me, you can see this is the truck. This is Kirsten Rosenberg, Zoe's mother. She drove here. We have a trailer fully equipped to take justice with us. You know, if they would have surrendered her. So if you're inspired by this action, if you want to help animals, if you want to, excuse me, if you're inspired by this action, if you want to speak up for animals, there's no better place in the world to get the skills you need than the Animal Liberation Conference. That's happening in Berkeley, May 23rd to 29. We're going to have Glenn Greenwald there, Pulitzer Prize world-class journalist, is going to be there, teaching us about repression and activism and how we can succeed in this day and age. We're going to be taking massive actions for animals, including some actions that are so secretive and so dramatic we can't describe them right now. But in the past, we've rescued animals. We've conducted civil disobedience. We've gotten mainstream, wide press, and we're shifting the societal dialogue around animals, because that's what this type of activism is intended to do. We were out here to try and save justice, and directly save an animal's lives. But more broadly, we want to inspire a societal conversation about animals, because if you actually have real conversations with people, it turns out people love animals. People want to help animals. People don't want to hurt animals. And so when we take action and we spark this conversation and people say, wow, there was a 15-year-old girl who put herself in chains outside of a slaughterhouse and got arrested today. That's incredible. And people start talking about that and they're like, wow, maybe I don't want animals to be hurt. Why are we supporting animals being hurt? Like, why would anybody speak up against that 15-year-old? So this is how we change things, and we see these changes happening. We see 32% of Americans in polls say they want the same rights for animals and people. 47% of Americans say they want to ban slaughterhouses. So this is a really encouraging sign for animal activists when we look at this and we say, okay, we already have the right values it takes to change the world. The people's attitudes are already with us. And there's just this fundamental difference between the behaviors which society has normalized around us with institutions like Cal Poly who teach violence. That it's the behavior that is going to come along when we change those values. When I was 4 years old, I realized for the first time in my life that what was sitting on my plate in front of me was not some harmless piece of food, but was a living, feeling individual who didn't want to die. So I spoke up and I told my parents, I didn't say I want to be a vegan, I didn't say I want to be a vegetarian, I didn't say I don't want to eat meat or eat venison. I came to my parents and I told them I don't want to eat animals. And that's kind of the beautiful and tragic thing, is that kids really do get it. Kids don't want to see animals hurt. Nobody really wants to see animals hurt. And it's just this system that normalizes this violence that allows it to persist. This system, including public institutions like Cal Poly with this horrible slaughterhouse that normalize that. So once again, folks, please share this. Please call Cal Poly. Keep the pressure on. They've already started putting up additional signage to try and scare us off and taking down some signs that are advertising this horrible place. They've already canceled class today. They already have had to invest in police forces. So this is how we disrupt the status quo. And everybody who's watching there today, everybody who's reaching out to the media, everybody who's making those phone calls, that's part of the change. This is a team effort. This isn't just a few of us here. This is Zoe. This is Julianne. This is myself. This is all these awesome local activists who came out here today, and we're stepping up and taking action. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, absolutely. So I approached the police officer who kind of led this entire approach. He approached us 4 times, asked us peacefully if we wanted to leave or be detained, and I approached him. He was the last police officer on scene, and I wanted to thank him because I said, he first didn't want to talk to me. I had to approach him multiple times in his car. I yelled thank you at him. You did what you could do. Being a police officer, he got out of the car to say thank you. He said, honestly, I'm really intimidated by you guys. I support your cause. I really do.
Absolutely.
And I said, stop there.
You're
doing what you can as a police officer to allow a movement to happen in a way that you can without disrupting it and without disrupting the free speech. I said, it's not your job to decide what happens, what doesn't happen here. It's your job to follow the rules you have, not hurt the civilians, and let the government and regulations and media make the changes. So keep doing what you're doing, because you were a great example for the rest of the police officers here. You were a great example for nonviolence, and you did what you could do, and this was the best turnout for your department and for us. It was a win-win, especially to support our cause.
All right, beautifully said. What's your name?
Sasha.
Sasha, thank you so much for that, Sasha.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's one thing that we do want to highlight, is that this is a systemic issue, and we're not trying to vilify individuals. We're not trying to vilify even the people who are caught up in this system, whether it's consumers, whether it's people who work at an institution or being educated by a violent institution like Cal Poly, or police officers. This is a systemic issue. We need to attack the system, and as you can see, when you have real conversations, real people agree with us. So the way we create that world and we bring people's actions in alignment with the values we already share is by continuing to speak up, continuing to take action. So if you haven't already registered, please do register for the Animal Liberation Conference. You can go to liberationconference.com. It's the best week of the year. That's kind of our whole calling card on that one. Best week of the year, trainings, action for animals, awesome vegan food. You get to meet awesome activists for animals like James Aspie, Earthling Ed, Glenn Greenwald, Wayne Shong, a whole plethora of people who are big names and inspiring figures in the animal rights movement. And you know what? You also get to meet Zoe Rosenberg, who's in a police car somewhere, who got hauled off, who's another hero of the animal rights movement. So, all right, let's take a look here and see if we have any questions or anything else coming in here. I'm a little behind on the comments, but there's a lot of folks out there, so we want to make sure we can still stay engaged with everyone. All right, lots of encouraging words. Thanks so much for all the support, everybody. Animals are not food. Exactly right, Dana. Thank you. Thank you for thanking the police officer. You did the right thing. Absolutely, Rachel. We're talking about a systemic issue here. Okay, so, okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you.
Do you have a card or any
Yeah,
contact info?
so 1 second here, folks. We got a member of the press who I'm going to hand my information off to. Sorry for the hold up here, but we do want to make sure we get this message out, so we're going to hand that. There's my card. Yeah, definitely contact me anytime. Thank you. Okay, so end carnism, exactly right, Sarika. In today's world, we don't need to consume animal products. Exactly right, Leanne. Thank you. Calling now, says Sophia. Thank you so much for that. They openly admit they're putting up signs to scare them off. That's exactly right, Casey. So, this is kind of when the system gets desperate. First they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. And we can see, one victory after another piling up. Today, we got this class canceled, and we're going to get a lot of press coverage. We got a lot of attention on this live stream. We see victories one after another. We banned fur in San Francisco. That's incredible. Nobody would have thought that was possible just a few years ago, but it's because of all these activists, even around the country, taking that kind of action and denormalizing violence. And so we see, one step after the next, one pillar of this horrible institution of speciesism after the next is falling. And a place like Cal Poly, you talk to people who you would think would be most invested in the status quo. You would think that the people who work here, the people who are educated here, the police officers who are enforcing these rules, you would assume that those would be the people most invested and most committed to the status quo. But in fact, when we have conversations with people, nobody wants to support violence towards animals. So with that, folks, I think we're going to wrap it up. Once again, we're right here outside of the Cal Poly Meat Processing Center. An amazing action today by Julianne, by Zoe Rosenberg. Please share, please engage, please make those phone calls, and above all, please keep taking action at places like the Animal Liberation Conference. That's liberation.com. You can get yourself registered, and you absolutely will not regret it. So thanks so much for everything, everyone. Thanks for being part of the team, and we will talk to you later.